Happy New Year! It's January, and I hope you wrapped up 2023 with some celebrations and a grand finale for your nonprofit's mission and your funding. It's January, and with that comes some annual filing deadlines. Today, I'm going to remind you of three important deadlines you need to hit in January. Hi, I'm Teresa Clark, and I'm a CPA with over 25 years of experience serving 501c3 nonprofits. I've both worked inside the organization as a CFO and external to the organization as an independent auditor in a CPA firm. And so, my mission to help nonprofit organizations is really to help them answer the money questions so that they can achieve financial success and accomplish their mission. You can think of me as a strategic partner to help you master the money. For more resources, you can visit my website, teresaclark.com. Okay, the first deadline I want to talk about today is W-2s. This is the tax reporting form that you are required to do for all employees who are compensated through your organization. It's due by January 31st. Chances are you have a payroll service doing this for you, or maybe you have an accounting software that makes it pretty easy for you to do it. Either way, I want to remind you, get started today. Don't put this deadline off. It's both a good service to your employees to get them out quickly, but it's also a good buffer. I've seen lots go wrong in the W-2 preparation world. And so whether you're running into printing issues or errors that have to be corrected or software services you need assistance with, I just want to remind you, get started today, get those out early as possible in January. The second is the 1099 miscellaneous form. There are several reasons you might need to file this form. It's basically income that a non-employee would receive. But typically for nonprofits, it's a form of contractor pay is typically what you're going to end up finding on a 1099. And so this is a payment that you made to someone for goods received or services that they rendered. I have actually a great decision tree I want to share with you here real quick. Let me just get my screen share to go. This decision tree, I think, really can help you as if you're not sure, like, do I issue this or do I not issue this? Okay, here we go. So this is a 1099 decision tree that I like to use. The first thing is 1099s are issued when a payment for services or goods received, or here, looks for our gifts given. Often in nonprofits, we give gifts and we need to be 1099ing those things if that's the case. Next is you want to decide or ask the question first, was it paid by a credit card? If it was paid by a credit card organizations actually do 1099 reporting. So no, you don't need to do anything. If it was paid by cash or check or an ACH by your organization directly, next step is to go review their W-9. For all payments that you're making, you should be looking at W-9s. And the W-9 form tells you whether that vendor is a corporation or an individual or something else. So here you go. It takes you to the next step. So you're looking at W-9s. And again, another reason to get started early in January. If you haven't been collecting W-9s all year, you're going to need to do this quickly. So the first thing is that you want to see, is the vendor a corporation? This includes an LLC, an S, a C Corp, or a nonprofit. Nonprofits are corporations. That's the case, no 1099 is issued. However, if the vendor you paid is an individual, so if you pay a person and they have a social security number listed on their W-9, you must issue a 1099. Next is if you pay a vendor who is an attorney or someone in legal practice, by definition, you have to issue a 1099. Okay, there's a couple of other really weird things about like phishing and I don't know, some weird stuff. So you might want to just jump on and look at the 1099 instruction form, make sure you're not missing anything. But in the case that you issue a 1099, those reports are due by January 31st as well. And they're only issued, as the note here at the bottom says, when your payments exceeded $600 in the calendar year. And 1099s are based on payment dates. So we're looking at a calendar year of payments that you would be looking at the the number by the $600 threshold. Okay, last thing here I want to talk about is donation or contribution statements. There's a publication that the IRS puts out. It's 506 and it's on charitable contributions. And it basically states that in order for individuals to claim deductions, they need to receive a contemporaneous written acknowledgement from a qualified organization. So your nonprofit needs to issue these. These come typically in the form of contribution statements that show all of the gifts that you received by the organization. If the gift is cash, it should have the amount listed. And if it's a property or a non-cash donation, you would actually just be entering or revealing the description of the property that you received. Okay, the acknowledgement has to do a couple of things. It has to say whether any goods or services were provided in exchange for the gift that the nonprofit received. And if so, you have to provide an estimate of the value of those things. Okay, let's get real practical. The most common place that I see this is when you have a event and you sell a ticket or a table and you have the cost of food and potentially entertainment. That just depends on what you're doing at your event. Well, you would need to reduce the amount that the individual paid you for the ticket or the table by the cost or the fair market value of both the meal and, in rare cases, the entertainment. So that you were only reporting on their contribution statement the true donation value. And you also have to include that little phrase on your statement somewhere: no goods or services were provided in exchange for this donation. So, all right, well, with that, there's an opportunity in those contribution statements, and that is to send a thank you note. While you're mailing that tax form that your donors are going to need, also take the moment just to tell them how thankful you are for what they did. Tell a story, explain what their gift did, give them some tangible evidence that they're investing in an incredible mission that's making a difference. Well, if you found this post to be helpful to you, then I want to encourage you to download a resource I have on my website that will help with kind of a checklist and keeping things efficient. It's a free checklist of financial tasks, and it includes the things we just talked about today. You can find it at my website, teresaclark.com/checklist.